Have you ever been disliked? Felt like the people around you don't even like you? Do you want to change that? Do you want to be respected and liked while also having the ability to make friends everywhere you go? Well, stick around for the end of this video to find out the best way to make people around you like you instantly. The first thing that you can do is be interested in people. Let's be honest. Do you think you can make friends just by waiting around and waiting for other people to talk to you? Probably not, because you have to keep in mind that other people are more interested in themselves than in other people. I mean, it makes sense. When was the last time you thought about talking to a stranger? Once you're 18 or older, this is going to be really noticeable because this is the age where people get responsibilities and goals. Coming out of high school, I was used to people approaching me. High school is a stage in life where everybody socializes. However, I rarely approached others and hence this created a bad habit. Fast forward and I'm in university. Throughout my first year of college, I struggled to make friends because of the sole reason that I was waiting for others to approach me. Don't do this. Always take the initiative and approach the other person in a friendly way. Whenever approaching someone, I always like to start off with a compliment, either by something physical or something that they worked on. Here's an example. I was in this event in my university where students get to present their own short films. The whole event was 2 hours and we were in a big classroom that was shaped like a movie theater. So we sat down and watched all of the short films, but one caught my eye. It was about this short film where this guy was trying to save his sister from the Grim Reaper. The whole movie was really cool, but once the event was over and everybody got up their seats, I looked next to me and I see that the actor for that film was next to me the whole time. And so I said, "Hey, nice work with your film. Your acting was great." Then I continued this conversation with my next piece of advice, which is to talk in terms of other people's interests. So once we were outside the classroom, I asked him, "What part of acting do you like the most?" And so with that, we had a nice, friendly conversation. But this was a situation where his work was really obvious. Most of the time, when it comes to strangers, you're probably not going to know their work. That's why I recommend complimenting physical aspects of them. An example would be complimenting somebody's beard. If you want to have a long, pleasant conversation, asking how he takes care of his beard and asking for ways to how to grow one could be one way to keep the conversation longer. But the part where most people fail at is not listening. Most people run out of things to say, and one way to keep the conversation going is by listening to what they're saying and asking specific questions about what they're saying. This doesn't sound hard, but most people focus on what they're gonna say next instead of focusing what the other person is saying. As I said, most people care mostly about themselves. If you listen, you can focus on other aspects of that person that might be interesting to you. Well, what happens if the conversation is transitioned to you? How do you keep the conversation going after that? Most people like to talk about themselves. It's not really that hard not to. But when the conversation is transitioned to you and you start talking about yourself, remember not to give short answers. This will show that you're not really interested in that conversation and you just want it to be over. Okay, well, what if the other person does the same? That's when you use reminds me of thinking. This is basically when you transition between topics. You transition between different topics until you find a topic that you both like. The issue here is transitioning of itself. When the other person is done talking, most people like to have this awkward silence and then bring up a topic out of nowhere. I've done this before. It is so awkward. Don't do this. The best way to go about it is to think, what does this remind me of? And once the other person is done talking, you can bring it up. Charisma on Command give a great example using the Joe Rogan podcast.
Rob asked Joe a question about baseball, which Joe doesn't seem interested in talking about. Most people here would just say something like, "No, not really," and let the conversation stall. Instead, Joe uses lateral thinking to transition to something else.
Are you a fan of the baseball with the crowd noise? Piped in crowd noise?
No, I'm not a fan of fake noise. I hate that some cars do that. They put fake engine noise through the speakers.
Oh, Jesus.
Exactly.
So you see, you don't even have to answer the question directly. You just have to pick something from the conversation and use this method. These examples are mostly used for fun, simple conversations. But if you want to have deep and important conversations with others, you have to make the other person feel important. And do it in a sincere way. I mean, who wouldn't want to be around someone who makes them feel special? So in order to do this in a sincere way, ask yourself, what is there about this person that I can honestly admire without expecting anything back? Have you guys ever had it when somebody complimented to you and you felt awkward? This is because there's pressure, anxiety, and tension built up from the expectations of said individual. No matter what type of compliment it is, it builds pressure. Think of it like filling a water bottle. Constantly builds up all the way to the top, and if you don't close the lid, it'll spill all over. Because once you hit that certain limit, you'll make the other person think, okay, what do you want from me? All of those compliments that you have given won't come off as sincere. They will come off as manipulative because of all that built up pressure. This is where a lot of people with the nice guy syndrome fall. They tend to focus on only complimenting girls and focusing on the nice side of them. You have to set a limit to those compliments. This is where a nice guys fail and Chad rises. because chats understand that when it comes to relationships, either male or female, there has to be a balance between compliments and playing around. Now, what does playing around mean? Well, this means roasting, making jokes, play fighting with the other person, and basically not taking situations too seriously. Obviously, it's not going to be the same with every person. Some are gonna want more compliments, and some will want to play around more. But at the end of the day, the key to making somebody feel important is balancing these two things. When it comes to joking around, a lot of people are scared of this, especially the nice guys, because they want to be seen as nice, and they see joking around and play fighting as a form of disrespect. I know because I was the same person at one point. I thought that if I joke about this, they're gonna think I'm weird. Or if I do this, they're gonna like me less. But like many things in life, this can be a skill that can be leveled up. Every time you try this and people seem to judge you or criticize you, then you just have to shake it off and try again next time. Or if those people keep criticizing you, then just don't talk to them. Cause I'll make it clear that they just keep you around in order to make fun of you. And those type of people are not the people who you should be hanging around. Okay, so now that we know what to do in a conversation, let's take a look how to come off as friendly in the beginning of a conversation. And one of the easiest things that you can do in order to come off as friendly is simply to smile. A genuine smile can make people comfortable and friendly towards you. There's more information in a smile than in a frown because it shows that you have good intentions. Don't fake a smile. People will notice and it will come across as ungenuine and it will feel the interaction feel forced. One way to smile genuinely, even if you don't feel like smiling, is simply to think of something funny beforehand. Just think of something that makes you laugh. And then once you begin the interaction with the other person, your smile will come across as genuine. Lastly, if you want to make a good lasting first impression, always remember the other person's name. A person's name is to that person the sweetest and most important sound in any language. Remembering someone's name is even more important because the next time you see that person and they notice that you remember their name, they will feel all the more appreciated. If some of these steps sound familiar, that's because I took these steps from How to Win Friends and Influence People. This book is all about how to improve your social skills, guiding people to your way of thinking, and preparing you to be a leader. If you are interested in improving these skills, I will leave a link in the description so you can check out the book for yourself. Alright, and that's about it. Thank you everybody so much for watching this video. If you need a video edited and you want a high quality video with special effects, I will personally edit a video for you if you hire me on Upwork. I will also leave a link to Charisma on Command's video on how to never run out of things to say in a conversation, as well as some other sources I used for this video. So thank you everybody so much for watching this video, and always remember to live your life like there's no tomorrow.